As the PlayStation Vita nears its third full year on the market, an amazing catalog of must-play games has slowly but surely built up beside it. As such, IGN's PlayStation experts recently locked ourselves in a conference room to hash out which 25 Vita games we think are best. Then, we put them in order. Here's what we came up with. You can play PvZ just about anywhere, but it may just be most at home on PS Vita. With options to use both the touchscreen and standard controls, the same addictive Plants vs. Zombies gameplay you can experience on your phone, tablet, or console is alive and well on Vita. You ought to find out why it's one of the best tower defense games ever made. Inspired by the notorious aerial dogfights of World War II, but with its own unique gameplay twists, Luftrausers is a high-score chasing arcade plane shooter with tons of unlockables to earn as you compete with your friends on the leaderboards. This is truly a brand new experience rooted in the old school, and it's a better game for it. Escape Plan was one of Vita's best games early in its life cycle, a product made by some of the devs that brought us Fat Princess. What does that mean? It means that they love humor, and laughs can be found all over Escape Plan's touch-centric campaign, which revolves around two characters, Lil and Large, as they try to escape a devious trap-ridden prison. Text-heavy adventures and visual novels are right at home on PlayStation Vita, and Zero Escape, the sequel to 999, is a great example. With tons of choices to be had, a slew of multiple endings, and a gripping story that takes its fair share of twists and turns, Zero Escape: Virtue's Last Reward is a must-play for Vita gamers who enjoy more thoughtful and cerebral experiences. Speed is the name of the game in Velocity Ultra, a top-down arcade shooter with incredibly complex gameplay. Navigating your ship around obstacles, rescuing survivors, and killing devious enemies is only part of the fun, because you've really only experienced Velocity Ultra when you nail perfect ratings on all 50 of its stages. Oh, and for trophy hunters, this is one of Vita's toughest platinums to get. Sony hasn't been paying much attention to Vita when it comes to its own first-party studios, which is why it was so nice that we got a true taste of AAA quality with Media Molecule's Tearaway. Utilizing Vita in unique ways while providing a fun 3D world to traverse, Tearaway is as much an experience as it is a game, and it's a delight to play. There are a lot of takes on the classic Tetris formula, and I mean a lot, but Lumines Electronic Symphony is certainly one of the better realized spins. It requires thought about both space and time, with a rhythmic element that combines its mechanics with audio. It's also a tough game, meaning it's rewarding when you nail a combo and watch your score explode. For many people, Spelunky is an absolute addiction, and many of those people will tell you that it's at its undeniable best on PlayStation Vita. Spelunky is a side-scroller with randomly generated stages, and it's all about getting to the end of various levels as quickly as possible. Its risk-reward gameplay is further heightened by its quickness, and how you have very little time to make consequential decisions on the fly. Vanillaware is well known for making beautiful games, and it just so happens that those beautiful games are almost always fun to play, too. Muramasa, which was originally a Wii game, was ported to Vita in the form of Rebirth, where it's just as fun and just as pretty to look at. Combining sword-slashing action with non-linear exploration, Muramasa has the heart of an old-school game and the beauty of a Renaissance painting. LittleBigPlanet is a well-known PlayStation exclusive with a home on PlayStation 3, PSP, and soon PS4 too. But some LBP purists claim that the best one of them all is actually on Vita. Like its PS3 counterpart, LBP Vita has its fair share of side-scrolling gameplay that's coupled with a whole lot of customization options. You can even bring in creations from the PS3 iterations in the series. The beauty of Danganronpa is that it proudly knows exactly what it is. It's a murder mystery with a bunch of teenage kids, but it's also largely tongue-in-cheek, with the entire ordeal being orchestrated by a maniacal teddy bear named Monokuma. Still, Danganronpa is a must-play for Vita owners, especially those that like an intriguing story with tons and tons of mystery. The entire premise behind Dokuro, a deceased prince comes back from the dead to protect his vacant-minded lover from killing herself in all sorts of different ways, is a novel one. But it's how Dokuro plays that's really worth writing home about. It's a platformer meets puzzle game that takes a lot of brain power to beat, but one that's incredibly rewarding once you do. The second Vanillaware game on this list, Dragon's Crown is molded in the style of old-school beat-em-ups like Golden Axe, but with tons of RPG elements and a whole lot of depth. And as a Vanillaware game, it also happens to be staggeringly gorgeous. With multiple character classes, lots of enemies and bosses, and online play galore, Dragon's Crown isn't only great on PS3, it's awesome on Vita too. Vita has been graced with two Rayman games, Origins and Legends, and while both are fantastic, Legends takes the cake as the better game. It's a fast, solidly made platformer with crazy locales, zany characters, and stunning art. Legends on Vita is no rushed, half-baked port job either. Its touchscreen has special functionality that makes it feel like Ubisoft brought it over to the handheld with care. Vita's early promise was console-quality gaming on the go, and Killzone Mercenary is one of the games that best exemplifies this tagline. Made with a version of Killzone 3's engine, Mercenary isn't only easy on the eyes, it's a lot of fun to play too, with pick up and play style modes for both offline and online play. Killzone Mercenary has a deep hook that keeps you thinking about it long after you're done playing. Puzzle platformers are everywhere you look, especially in this day and age in gaming. But Stealth Inc. might be one of the best of them all. Stealth Inc., as its name suggests, expertly melds puzzle platforming with stealth-centric gameplay to make something that's both fun to play and truly and deeply addictive. Its bonkers main character is also marvelous. Sound Shapes can be played on both PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, but this unique music-based platformer is perhaps best experienced on PS Vita. Sound Shapes is a truly different kind of game and a platformer genre muddled with a ton of sameness. Everything is predicated on music, making it and interacting with it, making Sound Shapes a game best played with headphones firmly affixed. When Hotline Miami originally came to PC, it wowed players not only with its gruelingly difficult gameplay, but for its stylish pixel graphics and surprisingly deep, heady, and sordid story. When it made the leap to PlayStation platforms, however, Hotline Miami found a great home, especially on Vita, with its dual analog sticks and touchscreen helping you survive the manic bloodshed for as long as possible. It's not every day, or even every year, or every decade, that an RPG with a heavily Japanese influence comes out of Quebec. But Child of Light is one such game. A throwback to simpler times, Child of Light packs a visual punch, with a nicely written story and an interesting combat dynamic to boot. It's a must-play even for those that typically stay away from RPGs. Steel yourself for an all-new addiction, this time in the form of the roguelike action RPG Rogue Legacy. Rogue Legacy's brilliance is in how it goads you to keep on playing, using different characters each time to get further and further into a dangerous, procedurally generated castle. Rogue Legacy gets into your blood and it refuses to leave. Drinkbox Studios did itself proud with Guacamelee, a Metroidvania-inspired brawler with a wonderful Mexican aesthetic. Its brawling, combo-filled combat is incredibly deep, and exploring its rich, diverse world is extremely satisfying. It's awesome on PS4 and PS3, and Guacamelee is just as awesome on Vita. Velocity Ultra set the seed, and with Velocity 2X, it didn't only sprout, it took on an all-new form. Velocity 2X continues Ultra's tradition of extremely fast-paced space combat, combining it with side-scrolling sections that require insane speed and precision. Velocity 2X is one of those games that sticks in your mind and begs you to come back for more, and then you do. Some might say that Uncharted Golden Abyss is a better game than the original Uncharted game, Drake's Fortune, and we wouldn't necessarily disagree. A Vita launch title, Golden Abyss remains one of the platform's best games, a true testament to the work done at Sony Bend, a studio that did Naughty Dog's franchise proud when it brought it to the handheld with on-par visuals and mechanics when compared to its console counterparts in the series. Whether it's Dead Nation or Outland or Resogun or even Super Stardust HD, developer Housemarque is a well-known quantity in the PlayStation ecosystem. So when it brought Super Stardust Delta to Vita, it came as a little surprise that it not only ran extremely well, but it played brilliantly. Its hook is obvious: stay alive, build your multiplier, and destroy your friends' high scores. It's downright awesome. Persona 4 Golden is a port of a PlayStation 2 game, but that's a good thing because it was one of PS2's best. And now it's Vita's single finest game. With updates, additions, and more that set it apart from the PS2 iteration, Persona 4 Golden is a true testament to the staying power of the JRPG, proving that the genre is alive and well. It also makes for a nice preface to Persona 5, which is coming to PlayStation 3 in 2015. What are the best PlayStation Vita games for you? Let us know, and then take a look at our top 25 list for other platforms, from Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, and even PC.